Stop waiting for the perfect time. That's it. That's the message. But if you're like most people, you don't need a short quote. You need a wake-up call. You need someone to look you in the eye and tell you the truth you've been avoiding. The truth is this: the perfect time is a myth. It doesn't exist. It has never existed, and it will never arrive. Somewhere along the way, you were sold a story that says you should wait until you feel ready. Wait until you have more money. Wait until you have more confidence. Wait until you have more clarity. Wait until your schedule clears up. Wait until the fear disappears. Wait until the timing is just right. But here's the problem. Life doesn't operate on perfect timing. Life moves. It keeps moving whether you act or not. And while you're waiting for ideal conditions, opportunities are passing you by. Think about how many times you've said, "I'll start next week. I'll start next month. I'll start when things calm down." But things rarely calm down. There's always something. A bill to pay, a responsibility to handle, a problem to solve, a reason to delay. And those reasons sound logical. They sound responsible. They sound mature. But most of the time, they're just fear wearing a disguise. Fear is clever. It doesn't always show up screaming. It doesn't always say, "I'm afraid." Instead, it whispers, "Let's just wait a little longer." It tells you that preparation is more important than action. It convinces you that you need one more course, one more plan, one more conversation, one more sign from the universe. And so you wait, and while you wait, nothing changes. The hard truth is that clarity doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Confidence doesn't come before you begin. It comes because you begin. Momentum doesn't magically appear when conditions are perfect. It appears when you move despite imperfect conditions. Look at any major success story. Behind every visible achievement is a messy beginning, an uncertain start, a moment when someone decided to move forward without guarantees. They didn't have it all figured out. They didn't feel completely ready. They simply decided that waiting was more painful than trying. The idea of the perfect time is comforting because it removes responsibility. If the timing isn't right, then you're not to blame for not starting. You can say, "It's just not the right moment." And that feels safer than admitting, "I'm scared." But safety and growth rarely exist in the same space. Growth demands discomfort. It demands risk. It demands action before certainty. Imagine if you waited for the perfect time to learn how to walk. As a child, you would have stayed on the ground forever. You walked because you tried. You fell. You stumbled. You cried. And you tried again. You didn't wait until you felt fully prepared. You acted, and your ability caught up with your effort. Somewhere between childhood and adulthood, you started believing that failure was unacceptable, that mistakes meant you weren't ready, that embarrassment was something to avoid at all costs. So now you hesitate. You analyze every possible outcome, and in doing so, you talk yourself out of movement. But here's the reality. There is no version of your future where you avoid all mistakes. There is no path where everything goes smoothly. The only difference is whether you choose to make those mistakes now, learn from them, and grow or wait so long that regret becomes your biggest mistake. Regret is heavier than failure. Failure stings for a moment. Regret lingers for years. Failure teaches you something. Regret reminds you of what could have been. When you look back at your life, you will rarely regret the things you tried and didn't succeed at. You will regret the chances you didn't take, the words you didn't say, the ideas you never acted on. Time is moving, whether you move or not. Every day you delay is a day you could have been learning, improving, building, growing. If you had started a year ago, imagine where you would be now. But don't let that thought discourage you. Let it wake you up. The next best time to start is now. You might be thinking, "But my situation is different." Maybe you don't have the money. Maybe you don't have support. Maybe you have responsibilities that make it harder. And yes, those things are real. They matter, but they don't change the core truth. Action is the only thing that creates change. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. You don't need to take a massive leap. But you do need to take a step, a small one, a consistent one. Waiting for perfect conditions often masks the refusal to start small. You want the big breakthrough, the big transformation, the big moment. But big moments are built on small beginnings. Start messy. Start unsure. Start with limited resources. Start with what you have. Because what you have right now is enough to begin. It may not be enough to finish, but it's enough to start. And starting is what matters. Perfectionism is another trap that keeps you waiting. You tell yourself that when you can do it perfectly, then you'll begin. But perfection is a moving target. The more you improve, the higher your standards become. So you keep delaying, waiting to reach a level that feels worthy. But worthiness isn't earned by waiting. It's built by doing. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards action. You can have the most brilliant idea in the world, but if it stays in your head, it changes nothing. Meanwhile, someone with half your talent but twice your courage will move ahead simply because they decided to act. You are not stuck because you lack ability. You are stuck because you are waiting. Waiting for motivation, waiting for inspiration, waiting for permission. But motivation is unreliable. Inspiration is unpredictable. And permission is something you give yourself. There will never be a moment when all your doubts disappear. There will never be a day when you wake up completely fearless. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's movement in the presence of it. It's saying, I'm scared, but I'm going anyway. Every time you delay, you strengthen the habit of hesitation. Every time you act, you strengthen the habit of courage. Your life is shaped by repeated behaviors. So ask yourself, are you practicing waiting, or are you practicing starting? The perfect time doesn't exist because life is unpredictable. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be risk. There will always be variables outside your control. If you wait for certainty, you will wait forever. Think about the goals you've been carrying for years. The business idea, the fitness goal, the book you want to write, the career change you've been considering, the conversation you need to have. What are you really waiting for? More time, more money, more confidence? Or are you waiting to feel safe? Safety is an illusion when it comes to growth. You can stay where you are and feel temporarily secure. But even that isn't guaranteed. Jobs change. Economies shift. Circumstances evolve. Waiting doesn't protect you from uncertainty. It just delays your progress. There's a powerful shift that happens when you stop asking, when is the right time? And start asking, what can I do today? That question brings you back to control. It focuses on action instead of conditions. It moves you from passive waiting to active creating. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a direction. You don't need complete clarity. You need commitment. You don't need guarantees. You need grit. Imagine two versions of yourself. One keeps waiting, keeps planning, keeps hesitating. The other starts, fails, adjusts, learns, tries again. 5 years from now, which version do you think will be further? Which version will feel proud? Which version will have stories to tell instead of excuses to explain? Starting doesn't mean you won't struggle. It means your struggle will at least have purpose. It means your effort will compound over time. Small daily actions may feel insignificant in the moment, but over months and years, they create massive results. When you wait, you freeze your growth. When you act, you accelerate it. Even imperfect action beats perfect intention. Even flawed execution beats endless planning. You might lose. You might fail. You might look foolish, but you will gain experience. You will gain resilience. You will gain insight. And those gains are far more valuable than the comfort of staying still. At some point, you have to decide that your dreams matter more than your excuses. That your potential deserves a chance. That your future self deserves better than your current hesitation. The clock is not pausing for you to feel ready. The days are not slowing down until you gather courage. Life is happening now. And the longer you wait, the more you trade possibility for regret. This is not about reckless action. It's about intentional movement. It's about choosing progress over perfection. It's about understanding that readiness is created, not discovered. If you keep telling yourself, someday, you'll wake up one day and realize that someday has turned into never. The cost of waiting is invisible at first. It doesn't hurt immediately. But over time it becomes the quiet ache of unfulfilled potential. You have everything you need to take the first step. Not the 100th step. Not the final leap. Just the first one. And that's all you need right now. Stop romanticizing the perfect moment. Stop idolizing ideal conditions. Stop convincing yourself that tomorrow will be easier. Tomorrow will have its own challenges. Next month will have its own obstacles. Next year will have its own uncertainties. The difference between who you are and who you want to become is what you do today. Not what you plan. Not what you intend. Not what you dream about. What you do. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence fuels bigger action. And that cycle begins with one decision. To stop waiting. Right now, somewhere inside you, there is an idea you've been postponing. A goal you've been delaying. A move you've been afraid to make. This is your reminder that you don't need another sign. This is the sign. You will never feel 100% ready. But you don't need to. You just need to be willing to try, willing to learn, willing to grow. Your life is not a rehearsal. There is no practice round. This is it. Every day you wake up is another opportunity to move closer to the life you want. Don't waste it waiting for a version of reality that doesn't exist. The perfect time is a fantasy. Progress is real. Action is real, and growth is real. And they are available to you right now. So, start the project. Make the goal. Send the message. Take the class, go to the gym. Write the first page. Record the first video. Apply for the position. Launch the idea. It won't be perfect. It won't be flawless. But it will be a beginning, and beginnings are powerful. One day, you will look back at this moment. You will either remember it as another day you chose to wait, or the day you finally decided to move. Choose wisely. Stop waiting for the perfect time, because the perfect time is not coming. But your opportunity is here, and it's waiting for you to act.